He's Chris.
He's Zach.
And we're the motherfucking Pigeon Boys.
Pigeon Boys! Hello, and welcome to PigeonCast, the Pigeon Boys video podcast. And this is our very first episode of PigeonCast, so I thought it would be appropriate to talk about podcasts.
Yeah.
You know, blogs, social media, Facebook, Twitter, all that crap. So a good place to start is our inspiration for this podcast. A lot of people have podcasts. Everyone and their mother pretty much has a podcast.
Never watched one. Never watched a single podcast.
Never watched a
Never
podcast.
listened to one. I've heard rumors about them.
They do exist.
Yeah.
As evidence
Please
as
tell
this, believe me, we're not the first people to do this. And we're definitely not the last. But, like, most people be like, oh, maybe they, like, Kevin Smith, he has, like, 17 podcasts that he's on. I know, Penn Jillette from Penn and Teller does a podcast. Pretty sure Harlan Williams still does his podcast.
I love the Harlan Highway.
Norm Macdonald has a podcast who often features, what's his name? Bob Einstein, Super Dave Osborne.
Oh.
He's featured a lot on that. So you might think, oh, maybe they're, inspired by that. Not really.
Nope.
Not at all.
Never thought of it.
Never
even thought about it.
Like, I've listened to Kevin Smith, and never once while I was listening to Kevin Smith did I think, hey, I should do a podcast. No. We were inspired to do this podcast.
Like
I'm going to censor that out later.
We listened to Magical Sports Adventure, and I realized that the guy is a retard that goes to he works at and he's retarded, and he has his own podcast, and we're like,
if that retard has a podcast,
if the retards
we
are
can
doing
do a podcast.
podcast.
So yeah, and I feel like that's probably the last straw, because I feel like I've known other people who have done podcasts, may not necessarily podcasts, but they've tried to do like an internet TV show.
Yeah.
It's always sports shows. Everyone thinks they can do a sports show.
People think sports is so easy.
Like, it's
so
not easy.
Elementary.
Like, honestly, I don't think we could do a successful sports podcast.
Because I don't care about anything in sports.
Because we don't take it seriously. It's just, it would be nothing but us making fun of the Yankees, the Phillies, the Rangers, the Giants. That's all it would be. It would be us making fun of everyone we don't like. And a little bit of making fun of the Jets, honestly, with their how many? 6, 7 starting
I think up to
quarterbacks?
7
That's cool.
today.
So yeah,
Find
so
another.
this in a way it's I think a phrase we've thrown around a lot in our first attempt at this. That's right, this is attempt number 2. Our first attempt, counter podcast.
Counter.
Someone made a podcast. We think they did it shitty. So this is our counter, our idea of what a podcast should be, which I think goes very well into how you were inspired to create your blog. That's right, this guy has a
I
blog.
have a blog, super famous blog. Everyone loves it.
Tell us a little bit about your blog.
I don't even know. I'm drawing a blank. I write about stuff that I hate, usually. Usually I just think of something that's real stupid, and I'll be like, yo. And I just start writing about
You
it.
just write about it.
Yeah.
See, I know you've said you feel like there's no reason to have a blog unless it's going to be funny.
Yeah.
And I partly agree with that. I think a blog should have a theme. Like, your theme is being funny, obnoxious, sarcastic. That's your thing, you claim there's, make-up statistics.
Yeah.
Things like that. So it's a funny blog. There are people with sports blogs. Again, everyone on the internet is obsessed with their sports commentary. And I mean, some people, like I said, I know so many people with blogs. Some people have a good sports blog, some people have a shitty sports blog. I was thinking about this. I sat behind a kid at 5 Towns who had a fashion blog. And he updated it in the middle of cultural diversity. And I was sitting behind him, and he was Googling pictures of, I want to say, like, boots, but like fashion boots. And he posted the picture of these boots to his blog and was like, oh, I want to create an outfit based on these boots. Because he was so bored by class he was writing a blog, and I was so bored by the class I was reading what he was writing on his blog. I, in a way, kept a blog, because I said I went to 5 towns. I made a short film as my senior project, and I kept a blog to update people on the progress of the film.
Yeah.
Which I think, like, that makes sense. I know a lot of professional filmmakers, you can watch video blogs. Lots of musicians do that when they're recording an album. Yeah. They take a video blog while they're on tour. So a blog should have a theme. And the last straw for you was an idiot with a blog
whose theme was being depressed.
Like there wasn't a theme. It was just a journal.
It was an online journal.
It was an online journal.
Like, Dear blog, I'm still alone. Which
I feel like that doesn't work, especially when you're a middle-class suburban white kid who has had no real difficulty or troubles throughout life. Like, I'm pretty sure both his parents are alive. I mean, I don't think anyone in his family is an alcoholic or a drug addict or anything like that. At least that's not what he talked about. He just talked about, like, his opinions on things and how, like, depressing his life is because, like, a girl doesn't like him?
Like, come on, man. Do you know how many people don't like me?
Didn't we know someone who had a famous blog that, like, girls would take pictures with him? Because he'd gone through some shit.
I knew a kid that worked at Adventureland. And I don't care about anybody, so to me, he was just like a worthless fucking kid. And so I go up to him and start talking to him, and some girl just comes up and she's like, oh, you so-and-so? And he's like, yeah, because he was real gay, so he was just always like,
that's me, bro, that's totally me.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And all of a sudden, they're like taking pictures with him, and they finish up, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? And he's like, yeah, I kind of got like a famous blog. And at that point, I was like, a famous what? Like, I didn't even know what a fucking blog was. And this kid's famous. I don't even know what he blogged about. I don't know. He has a fucked up childhood, though. So, I mean, that's good material.
But exactly, that's the thing. It seems that the best writers have always had a really shitty life.
It's the same thing with comedians.
Yeah.
It's like, if you were fucking molested as a kid, oh, you're going to be a comic genius.
You're going to be comic genius, exactly.
So that's just anything for all you kids out there. If your parents were murdered, you might become Batman.
You're either going to become Batman or a world famous writer.
So
if your parents were murdered.
So if you want to be Batman, have your parents killed.
If you want to become a world famous writer, just
be an alcoholic.
Make your parents an alcoholic. Be an alcoholic. Maybe have a sibling who's a drug addict.
Oh, if you want to be a big country star, chop your brother in half.
That's a good one.
And go to jail. And do a lot of cocaine.
Lots of cocaine.
And you'll be set.
I mean, if the 70s taught us anything, cocaine is the secret to fame.
Success, yeah.
So,
I have to agree.
So if you're gonna blog, it needs to be about something.
Yeah.
There needs to be a theme. And I think people that are just trying to get a blog out there, a serious blog. Like I said, like, being funny, because let's face it, we're suburban middle-class white kids. We haven't dealt with a lot of trouble, so there's not much to complain about. So that's why everything we do is meant to be funny. It's meant to make people laugh. But people who are, like if we suddenly decide, you know what, we should be really deep and intellectual, like, we're just trying too hard.
Like, nobody cares. That's why I always said, people, like, I never understood, like, people you went to school with trying to make serious movies. And it was like, you're like a 23-year-old guy trying to be like Spielberg, and you just look like a fucking clown.
See, that's the thing. Like Steven Spielberg, he seems like a relatively normal guy, but he had issues with his father. And if you watch any movie directed by Steven Spielberg, the main character has issues with their father.
Yeah.
Every time. Every single time. Because that's the struggle you go through. And I feel like if you don't have that struggle, like, it was weird going to school with people trying to make these serious films which some of them did have struggles, some of them did have strained relationships. Very few of them, maybe like 1 or 2 kids, made a very good, serious film about a struggle that they might have pulled from real life or knew someone that dealt with it. Because, like, in filmmaking, you gotta make a film about what you know. And there were too many people that were trying too hard. Me, I wasn't trying hard at all.
Yeah, it's the key to success also. It's another key. There's many keys.
There are many keys, which I'm sure you could blog about. The keys to success.
I'm always blogging about keys to something.
There's keys to everything. He knows it. He's got them all. He's the key master.
I am the key master.
I am the key master. Are you the gatekeeper?
Yeah.
It's like that, right?
It's just like that.
By the way, that was a terrible Rick Moranis impression.
Yeah. The first of many Ghostbuster references.
Hopefully, there are many more Ghostbuster references
here. I have
here.
a couple written down.
But yeah, too many people they're trying too hard.
Yeah.
To impress people. And I see that on, like, Twitter. People trying to impress people online, and it's
trying to impress somebody on Twitter, you've already failed.
You really, because
that's like the bottom of the barrel.
There is no, like, I don't even know why you would want to be, like, noticed on Twitter. Like, maybe you want to get retweeted by someone. But I mean, the most I ever hope for is that, like, he retweets something funny I said.
Yeah, I just like somebody retweeting it. Because I like the idea of
favoriting my tweet.
I like the idea of, like, random teenagers I don't know or will never meet, like, reading something I said, and, like, hopefully they're just, like, horrified by it.
Yeah. Yeah, like, you say something horrible. I'm going to retweet it, but I don't... The same people follow both of us.
Pretty much.
But there are other people you know...
Like, yeah.
That will retweet you, who will have completely different people. They'll be friends with, like, high school girls and, like, younger kids that don't even know who you are. And they'll see that this is being retweeted, and they'll think, wow, this guy follows a really weird white guy.
Yeah, like this guy's really fucking weird.
He's insane.
And I love that. I sit in my room and that's what I think about before I go to bed.
Yeah?
That somewhere a high school girl is reading my Twitter account and being horrified by it.
We can only hope. But yeah, people, and another thing on Twitter is people make a big deal when they hit a milestone.
Yes.
Like 500th tweet, 1000th tweet, like 2,000 tweets.
Number of followers.
Or yeah, like certain number of followers, which I mean, I feel like hitting a certain number of tweets, that's kind of
stupid.
Not a big deal.
No.
Like getting a certain number of followers is a big deal for like celebrities. Like I'll see bands make a big deal like, oh, we're about to hit 25,000 followers.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know, or stand-up comedians, stuff like that. That's cool. But if you're just like a normal guy about to hit your 1000th tweet, no one cares.
Nobody cares. Nobody's gonna care.
And we follow someone about to hit his 1000th tweet, and he tweeted at like maybe like 997.
Yeah.
Oh, my 1000th tweet is coming up. Help me come up with a witty tweet. And immediately, my idea for his witty tweet was, for the 1000th time, no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be my 1000th tweet. So all you kids out there, don't steal my 1000th tweet.
You're up to, like...
I'm up to 700 something.
Oh, okay.
So I'm close. I think I got maybe, like, 250 more to go.
Yeah, just...
So, I mean, I'll just
kill it.
I'll just kill it.
And just blast right
I'll
through.
blast right through.
200.
I'll get to this last 250.
Get there.
No problem. But yeah, he's like, oh, I need a good witty 1000th tweet. And then a few tweets later, this was a few days later, so he made sure he wanted a really good 1000th tweet. Really like he didn't tweet to make sure his 1000th tweet was going to be really good. And the day came where the tweet went out, the 1000th tweet went out, and he announced it. Like he said, this is my witty tweet. In the 1000th tweet, he said, this is my witty tweet. Hyphen. And this is basically what the tweet came down to. He tweeted about a baseball game. He said, these players played a good game. If it was opposite day...
Oh, man.
Like,
that's the wittiest shit I've heard all day.
Like, yeah, I was stunned by the wit.
Opposite day.
Like, that's not the exact tweet, but that was the idea behind the tweet. Like, it It was like the lamest
So
joke ever.
stupid.
Like, we make lame jokes all the time.
Yeah, but
Like, we get told to put the dishes away, and it's like, no, we'll put you away.
and it never gets old.
But
we know it's bad.
we know it's bad. That's why we say
People don't know they're bad,
it. That's the problem. There's too many people making bad jokes,
and they don't know they're bad.
and they don't know they're bad. We know when
And
we're
then
making
we have
bad
to come along and tell them they're bad, and then we're the bad guys.
And then we're the bad guys because we're telling people
that they're bad.
like people should respect our comedic opinions,
Yeah,
and they don't.
they don't.
They
At
think
all.
we're just being jerks.
And I mean, sometimes I am.
Yeah,
Sometimes I have a little too much
yeah,
to drink, and I'll
man.
go on Twitter, and I'll start saying YOLO at people.
Yeah, he starts YOLOing. He starts using racial slurs.
Aw.
He starts calling people dick fuckers. You
You
don't want to. You don't want to mess with him.
like, don't be tweeting stupid shit while I'm drinking,
Don't do that.
because I'll find you, even
Don't-
if I don't follow you.
Don't tweet about Saturday Night Live because Saturday
Don't
Night
do
Live
it.
sucks.
It's terrible.
Okay?
I watched it last night. I was crying.
It was upsetting.
It was so sad.
I mean, that's why I don't watch it. I've tried watching
There
it.
was nothing on Saturday night, and I was like, let me try watching this, and I just...
You know what I did? I think because we caught the end of a replay of Saturday Night Live, because that's what NBC shows on Saturday nights before Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
They show repeats.
In case you missed it.
So in case you missed the unfunny episode from last week, you can watch it this week before the news. And I thought about watching it, and I thought, no, you know what I'd rather watch? I'd rather watch a movie about Swedish rape
Fucking-
and murder.
Fucking anything.
I ended up watching The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which is, like, the plot is a girl was raped and murdered, and then several people get raped and murdered throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And it's all in Swedish.
And that's funnier than Saturday Night
And
Live.
that was more
I
enjoyable.
laughed so hard through The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
I know.
Whole thing, just constant laughs.
There's- And you watched the American version.
Laughs from start to finish.
Exactly.
Loved it. Couldn't get enough.
So, don't
Don't tweet the word witty.
don't announce that you're going to be witty.
Don't.
Because that automatically makes
It makes you unwitty.
unwitty.
It's like a fucking comedian walking on stage and being like, I'm a comedian, you're about to hear some funny ass shit.
Yeah.
And
You're
people
about
just
to
go,
laugh your
you're
asses
about to
off.
laugh. It's like that, like Jerry Seinfeld coming on stage and be like, who's ready to laugh? Like, nobody. Literally nobody is about to laugh now.
is about to laugh.
Yeah, booed off stage. Can't boo people off Twitter, though.
And that's... You might be able to.
I'm gonna try.
We should try.
We
We
should
should
try.
try.
Just start tweeting boo at people.
Boo!
That'll be
You
the new
suck!
thing. If you see somebody tweet something stupid, just tweet boo at them, like heckle them.
That'd be good. But there's another thing that bothers us on Twitter. And that's the people that announce that they're going to the gym.
Yeah.
Everyone tweets gym flow. The entire
gym
tweet
flow.
is hashtag gym flow.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I don't get
Who
it at all.
started that?
I don't know who started it. And it's... some of the people who tweet this are in good shape.
Oh.
Some of them aren't.
Either way, it doesn't matter.
Either way, it's annoying.
Fucking dick.
Like, there's this one guy I'm friends with on Facebook. I swear he's probably trying to be a professional bodybuilder. So he's the only person I accept the gym stuff from.
Who is it? We'll censor his name.
This guy I went to 5 times with. You never met him.
Okay.
He was... A lot of people didn't really like him because, like, he was kind of a jerk. And, like, there was I remember my friend told me this story. There was this... I won't mention her name because... Well, it's not like she's going to watch it. This girl... she, her and were in an audio group. And, like... Alright, you pretend to be and you're reaching to, like, move a slider on the... And then, like, would do that. Like, pretend like he's reaching at the same time. And he did it on purpose several times. And I remember telling me that. And I thought it was hilarious that he was
good.
doing it. But yeah, he's jacked out of his mind. And I can only assume he wants to be like a professional bodybuilder or something. So, like, if that's what you want to do with your life, then yeah, go for it.
Keep it to yourself, though.
But, yeah, like, everyone's obsessed with letting people know they're going to the gym.
I wonder, in like the history of Twitter or Facebook, has any girl ever like saw like somebody tweet that and been like, "Oh my god, you know what? I need to have sex with that guy now."
I don't think so. I think it's actually the exact opposite. A girl sees it and thinks, "Wow, I'm gonna avoid that guy at all costs."
Yeah. I don't think anyone at any time has ever seen somebody tweet about going to the gym and then be like, "I'm so impressed."
So that's like the same thing. Have girls ever seen a guy post something on Facebook or Twitter like, "Oh, I'm so lonely, I need a girlfriend," and thought, "Wow, I should totally bang this guy.
Yeah.
He's so
Never.
pathetic that I want to
Right.
have sex with him." No, that doesn't happen. And I don't get it.
No, nobody does.
Like the people checking in at the gym.
Oh, I hate that.
No one cares.
I hate people checking in anywhere.
Yeah.
Stop doing that.
It reminds me a lot of on AIM when people would put all their plans in their away message.
Yeah.
I always hated that. And I remember talking to someone on AIM, I forget who. And everyone, like, I could go on AIM at any given time and find an away message that said they were taking a shower.
Yeah.
Which I always thought was strange. And I remember I was talking to someone, probably a girl. So I only ever talk to girls on AIM.
Yeah, he only talks to girls, that's it, man. Just all the time, just non-stop.
So this girl says, "Oh, I'm going to take a shower." And then I'm like, "You just told me you're about to get naked and wet and rubbing your body."
Yeah.
And she was like...
That's what AIM's all about.
And she was like, "No, I told you I'm about to get clean." I'm like, that's not the way I took it at all. You're announcing to the world that right now, somewhere on Long Island, you're naked. Which I don't know why you'd want to tell people that. And it puts a decent image in my head, but...
Yeah.
Alright, what's next on our...
What's next on the agenda?
Ah! People trying too hard is kind of what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Which is the overall theme here.
That's definitely turning out to be
That's
the theme.
that's the theme right now. And there's a girl. And there's a guy. I follow both of them on Twitter. Said guy has an obnoxiously obvious crush on said girl. Said girl has admitted on multiple occasions that she is grossed out by said guy. And said girl will tweet something about, I don't know, hockey or
like being about a stupid
or,
bitch.
or like
how
yeah,
fucking
something like
stupid
that.
she
Like how
is.
like how
fucking like ridiculously tall and ugly she is.
yeah, stuff like that. And then said guy will start tweeting back at her, like trying to talk to her, make conversation. And I feel bad because, like, I know the girl doesn't like him. And you know what the worst part is? The girl talks back to him.
That's sad. That's
She's giving him hope.
see, and I don't know if that's like.
And I don't know
She's trying
if
to
that's...
be nice or.
I feel like
a
she's trying to be polite.
straight up bitch.
She's trying to be polite by talking to him. And because it's not just like she'll tweet, he'll tweet back at her, then she tweets and it's over. It goes back and forth like several times. It's a full on and it's like, don't... You're giving the guy hope. Don't do that.
Make him hopeless.
Yes.
Another key to success is being completely hopeless.
Like,
hopelessness is your only hope.
I think it would... I'd feel better, and I'd feel better about the situation if she just wouldn't tweet back at him.
Yeah, because then at least, you know...
At least then, maybe he'll get the message.
Maybe it'll resonate eventually.
Oh, maybe she doesn't want to talk to me. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, there's something I was going to say. I forget what it is now. Like a whole story. Fuck.
Maybe you'll think about it later, but
Maybe.
right now I want to talk about, since we're talking about people trying too hard, we already touched on the filmmaking, and I think I want to talk about that a little bit more.
I thought of what I want to say.
Oh, what is it?
I have an interesting skill where whenever I try and like talk to people, I just like kill that conversation.
Yes.
On the spot. Like people will be talking on Twitter, like going back and forth, and then I'll chime in and say something like real obnoxious or stupid, and then the whole conversation ends.
Completely dies.
It's happened so many times. Like
it's
on Twitter,
happened multiple times.
I can think right off the top of my head of 2 situations on Twitter. One was about the football incident, because I got brought into that one.
Yeah, you were dragged into that. You didn't just, like, jump in.
No.
They mentioned you.
They mentioned me on Twitter, so I thought that was an open invitation to put in my 2 cents. So I just tweeted something, like, fucking stupid, and was like, yeah. And then all of a sudden, they stopped talking. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Then there's another one, like, 2 guys are going back and forth. And I just, like, chime in and, like, say they're gay. Or, like, oh, you guys are so cute. And then they stop.
I know, shortly after that, you and Biz started going back and forth. And then I chimed in. And then you were like, I'm going to let you know what it feels like to be a conversation killer.
By not responding.
Yeah, and that's... it's almost like people take Twitter too seriously.
Yeah.
And that's why they try so hard. They take social media so seriously, and they try too hard.
And I'm just there because it's fun.
Yeah.
I'm just having fun. That's why I made Twitter.
Just to have fun. Just mess with people.
That's what were you talking about?
I was talking about filmmakers.
Oh, yeah, they're gay.
Most of them are.
Bunch of fucking losers.
Get a real fucking job.
Get a real job.
But yeah, it was strange because I remember...
That bored the shit out of me.
Chuffa.
Everything you just said is so boring.
It kind of, I think, again, I'm fitting in with the theme of trying too hard.
You are, because you're just talking
Because
about
I'm
your life like anyone cares.
That's
the thing, nobody cares about your life.
But yeah, see, that's what we got to get into.
This?
The internet. Everyone thinks they can do anything on the internet.
Yeah.
And I think this stems from our first try at this when we were reading someone's LinkedIn page.
Yeah.
And they were listing the programs that they know how to use. And among these programs were like
Paint.
Yeah, like
Microsoft Word.
Microsoft Paint, Microsoft Word.
Internet Explorer.
Yeah. He was listing things that the professionals don't use.
And fucking children use.
Like, he listed the 2 I remember are iMovie and Audacity.
Yeah.
iMovie comes free with your Mac. If you own a Mac right now, you have iMovie.
And it's probably so fucking easy to use.
That's probably why the videos this guy has edited together look like shit.
Absolute shit.
And then there's also Audacity, which is free audio editing software.
Is that what that is? I don't even know.
It's free.
I know I've heard people talk. I knew it was free.
It's free. You just download it.
What, GarageBand? That's like a recording or something?
GarageBand, I feel like, is recording. I feel like...
Also free.
GarageBand, which comes on your computer. GarageBand might be very similar to Guitar Pro.
I think it is something like that, where you can kind of make music or record music.
I feel like it's kind of one of those things...
Which is weird. This guy has no musical talent.
No.
Although he believes he does.
He believes he does. Because the thing is, he listens to music that doesn't require any talent at all.
Yeah. So it's easy to get into that type of music.
So it's easy to get into this style of music and believe well, this idiot is making music with a Mac, so I can do it. You know, you listen to like Skrillex.
Yeah.
Who apparently Skrillex does have.
He was like a guitarist.
He was the guitarist for like a metalcore band.
He gave up being talented for being a sellout.
Well, let's face it, metalcore isn't really talented.
Yeah,
But again, it's like people using this free software, and it's like saying you're good at using something you got for free that no one in the industry uses. Like, they'll look down on you for putting that on a resume.
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing to even put that.
Like, me, if I was going to say, oh, I know how to use fucking video editing software, I'm putting the Adobe shit that I use because it cost $1,000.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to say that I know how to use that. I'm going to say I know how to use Final Cut Pro, which is a Mac-only product that, again, costs, I want to say, like $300 or something. Guitar Pro, that was, what, like $80 when we bought that?
Yeah.
We have recording software. Cubase.
Yeah, we do actually.
Which is like $60 or something.
That was expensive.
So it's almost like these people want to do the work without spending the money.
Yeah.
And the thing is, to make money, you have to spend money.
You gotta spend money.
And
spend somebody else's money. Spend some amusement park's money.
That's
like
what I think.
GoPro.
That's what you should do. Take advantage of what you got, because that's what I did with when I got my Adobe Creative Suite.
Like a student.
I used a student discount. I might have used your student ID to get the student discount because I had already graduated.
Yeah.
And if I would have bought it, it would have been like $2,500. But with a student discount, I could get it for $1,000, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, people trying too hard. I don't get it. It opens you up for trolling. It really does.
Yeah,
people are gonna fuck with you. And like, we troll a lot.
Yeah.
We've messed with a lot of people.
So many people everywhere we go.
Let's talk about some of the smaller stuff. Like, talk about what you do on Omegle.
I go on Omegle all the time. Like, when I get bored, I go on Omegle. And I guess if you don't know what Omegle is, it's a bunch of people log onto it, and you get paired up randomly with a stranger, and you just start talking. It's like how AIM is. We just instant messenger. But strangers. So you just get paired up with some random person, and if you don't like them, you can just disconnect, or you can just talk to them.
And there's not even screen names or anything, right?
No, just a stranger 1, stranger 2. So sometimes I'll go on there, and it's very rare that I'll go on and say, like, yeah, I'm a 21-year-old guy from New York. Like, maybe I'll do that once.
Yeah.
If I can't think of something to say right off the top of my head, that's very stupid. A lot of time I'll go in there and be like, hey, I'm a 12-year-old boy. I like snorting coke and banging chicks. Or some shit. Some people will be like, oh, hey, what's your age and location? I'll be like, 61-year-old guy from India. And people are just like, what the fuck? And they disconnect from that. Or I'll be like, I'm a little girl. Like, I'm a 6-year-old girl. Some shit like that. The best one on that was somebody came on and they're like, oh, is this so-and-so? Asking if it was their friend. And I was like, yeah, that's totally me. And I talked to this person for like 45 minutes pretending to be them. It turned out in the end they knew I wasn't them. They busted me, but that was good. Just all sorts of stupid shit. I've saved so many different conversations I've had with people. You get some funny people on there. A guy came on and started typing lyrics to Holy Diver. So I started typing them back, and that was pretty good. I'm trying to think of some of the better ones. See if I had my laptop, that would come in handy because I saved them. Just calling people gay, telling them I hate them.
That's always fun.
Yeah.
I know my real first attempt at trolling was on the Metal Gear Solid 4 message boards on GameSpot. If you're not familiar with the Metal Gear franchise, in Metal Gear Solid 2, there was a new character introduced, name of Raiden. A lot of people didn't like Raiden. He was very feminine-looking character, rookie, kind of stupid. A lot of people didn't like him, especially compared to the very gruff, tough guy look of Solid Snake, the main character from Metal Gear Solid 1, and the 2 Metal Gear games on Nintendo. And you also play as Solid Snake for the first, like, hour of Metal Gear Solid 2, then all of a sudden you're playing this, like, gay little blonde-haired, pale-skinned idiot. So, people are always insulting him because of his blonde hair, feminine features, stuff like that. So I decide, you know what, I'm going to go on and say I hate the character, but not for those reasons. And I remember my reasons were, throughout the game, he has a girlfriend. He can't remember their anniversary. Yeah. So right off the bat, I'm like, he's a jerk. He can't remember her anniversary. It does come out he almost hit her once. She forced her way into his bedroom, and he threatened to like punch her in the face.
Yeah.
That comes up in an optional conversation that you can have with her. Because you're talking to his girlfriend throughout the game. It's really weird.
It is very strange.
Then he starts flirting with a girl.
Another girl, nerdy
with
chick.
Emma, this nerdy chick he saves, while he's got a girlfriend trying to help him. It turns out his girlfriend's knocked up.
Fucking pregnant.
He's got a pregnant girl at home.
He was gonna hit, and now he's trying to cheat on her.
And now he's hitting on this like nerdy girl that he's trying to save.
Like, what the fuck?
And then it turns out that the nerdy girl, they're in this this like, I don't even know what the fuck it was. I don't remember what it was. It was some like water purification something, and a bomb goes off. Water starts leaking inside the building, so in the lower levels you have to swim because it's out on like the Hudson River, this thing that they're on. So there were lower levels that you had to swim through, and when Raiden saves this nerdy chick, she's afraid of the water. And it turns out she's afraid of the water because her stepbrother's father, who was her stepfather, drowned himself and tried to drown her with him. So you talk to her stepbrother, and there's this very awkwardly delivered line by Raiden after they swim for a while, where he says, "We've managed to avoid drowning."
Yeah, he says it very strange.
It's very awkwardly delivered, and I cited that line as saying it's an obvious insult to Emma's stepfather. Yeah. And it's obviously, we've managed to avoid drowning, unlike that stepfather of yours. And I remember that line getting a lot of laughs on the message boards. Quite a few people would quote that as the best line of my post.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up by Raiden.
Yeah, he's fucking jerk. But then we've done other stuff. We've done stuff on Facebook and Twitter. I want to talk about when we changed our pictures to Slowpoke, which we've done a few times. That was always good. We did that a few times. We did that for a New Year, because online there's a joke. You post a picture of Slowpoke and say, like, it's, now, middle of May. You say, Happy New Year!
Yeah. It's just fucking retarded.
And then, so we would do something like that. It would be maybe, like, end of January. One of us would post, Happy New Year! And then the other one would come on with another Slowpoke picture and say, yeah, I can't believe the 90s are over.
Yeah.
And, like, just going back even more and everything like that. Did the same thing when, after Kanye West took the microphone from Taylor Swift and did the whole, Yo, Taylor, I'm gonna let you finish, but, Beyonce had the best video of all time. One of us posts, oh, I can't believe what Kanye said. And then the next one was like, yeah, I can't believe he said George Bush doesn't care about black people. Because that happened several years earlier. So that's the kind of things we do on Facebook. We've done things on Twitter where, one I could think of recently is I'll go through the trending hashtags. And I saw one, why guns are better than liberals. Now, I probably align myself more with liberals than conservatives, but sometimes I can't help myself and make a joke. So I see why guns are better than liberals, and immediately I think, have you ever tried shooting a terrorist with a liberal? Doesn't work. And conservatives will start liking that and retweeting it, thinking,
so funny.
Thinking like, oh yeah, I'm totally a conservative. He's done the same thing. He's conservative.
Yes, I'm a right-wing extremist.
He's red state through and through.
Yeah.
And
I have red blood.
Yes.
I bleed red.
And he'll make a liberal joke, and liberals will be like, oh yeah, good for you.
Yeah, because it was when the Redskins were in the playoffs. I tweeted something. Because when teams are in the playoffs, I usually take their name and I change it to something like if the Cowboys are playing, I'll call them the Cowgirls or something like that.
Or like
Brokeback
make
Mountain
like a Brokeback Mountain
reference.
jokes.
But the Redskins are playing and it's like...
The 49ers call them the 69ers.
But the Redskins, it was like, oh, what can I even say? I mean, their name is already like a racial slur. And like somebody retweeted it and I looked at their page and they were just like a diehard liberal that was just out to change the name of the Redskins. And I was kind of pissed because I was like, wow, they're using my tweet like to push their
own agenda,
their liberal agenda.
Yeah, it's like you're just trying to be obnoxious, and
there were like 40 tweets that they had that were just retweets of people saying shit about the name of the Redskins, and I was like, oh, that kind of pisses me off. Like, I kind of want to delete that tweet now, but I didn't.
Yeah, I know. I know. With the guns are better than liberals, we started coming up with potential ideas for the liberal counter to that.
Oh, yeah.
Which would be, I think the one we ultimately decided on was why abortions are better than conservatives.
Yeah.
Which we went back and forth with quite a few times.
Why welfare is better than conservatives.
Yeah. Why,
abortion,
shit like that.
That was a good one. Why abortion is better than conservatives.
But I'd say the best way to end this podcast, our very first podcast, is to talk about the ultimate trolling we pulled on Facebook. This was a few years ago.
Yeah, this was quite a few
years ago. We were both... You were in college. You were probably done with that semester, though. Yeah. I was probably done with the semester or had graduated already.
Just graduated.
So it was...
Pretty much, we both weren't working and we weren't going to school.
It was this time of year where... Work wasn't open full-time yet, because we used to work at Adventureland. They were seasonal. They weren't open until end of June.
Yeah.
So we had nothing to do during the week. No work, no school. And we saw one of our friends, Mike, joined an event page on Facebook for Senior Cut Day, because he was still in high school. And we both thought, like... That's a bad idea.
That's really stupid.
You're advertising you're not going to go to school. You're going to get yourself in trouble. So we thought this is a perfect opportunity to fuck with them.
Yeah.
So we created a fake profile page for a guy named Robert Riley.
Now, where we got that name, I don't even know. We just...
I don't know either.
Let's come up with a first name and last name. Robert... Riley.
Robert Riley.
And that was it.
And we decided Robert Riley is the kind of guy who would wear a sweater.
Like a fucking stupid looking
sweater. A really ugly sweater.
So we
Google guy in sweater. Google image search, guy in sweater. And we see a picture of like this guy kind of standing there like this, like with this really big smile.
Yeah.
In an ugly sweater.
Like, that's
and we're like, that's Robert Riley.
That's him.
So we used that. It looked like it could be a profile picture.
Yeah, it was perfect.
But then we were like, well, if we're going to use this Facebook profile, we need to make it, like, legit. No one is going to know who the fuck this Robert Riley is, so we can't just start adding people.
Yeah.
So we made it private.
But surprisingly, you can just send friend requests to random people and they'll accept it.
See, I think that's what we did. We started going into groups. A guy named Robert Riley, and the type of guy we had in mind, because we haven't even gotten to what Robert Riley did.
No.
This is just about what we
did.
Creating Robert Riley, making him look like a legit human being. We started liking, I think we liked like maybe some religious pages.
Yeah. A lot of liberal things.
We liked some liberal things. And we liked pages that we thought this type of person would like, and added people in that group.
Yeah.
So it would be like, this is why we're adding you. We saw that you, like, we became a fan of the show Lost.
Yeah, like Taylor Swift.
And like, yeah, like popular music or whatever, and then start adding people that also liked it.
Yeah.
So this way it'll look like, okay, this person has friends. But we made it private so this way you couldn't see that it was, like, made within the last, like, 3 days. So with Robert Riley, we go to the event page. And I think I was on the desktop computer. You were on your laptop.
I had my laptop.
And I was going back and forth, cross-referencing, because what we were going to do is we were going to send a message to our friend Mike. saying, we have a list of names in the Senior Cut Day event that we are sending to the high school principal, who we looked up.
Yeah, we found his name.
We looked up the high school's website, found the principal's name, so we were using the principal's actual name, and we said we've come up with a list of the people in this event page, and we're giving this list to the principal so that he knows which students are cutting.
Yeah. So
But
they can be properly disciplined.
Exactly. So we knew if we only sent the message to Mike,
It'd be too weak.
it wouldn't be strong enough if he's the only one getting it. So we started cross-referencing who is friends with Mike and RSVP'd to the event.
Yeah.
And we went back and forth, and I think we found somewhere between like 10 and 15 people.
Yeah. I was sitting there with my laptop, you were on the desktop. You would give me a name. I remember you would say a name that was from the group, and then I'd look up that person and say whether or not they were friends with Mike.
Yeah.
And that's what we were doing. And then if they were, like, one of us would copy and paste.
I think you were sending the messages.
We're copying and pasting the message we wrote, and we're sending it to people. Yeah. And it's just going through this entire list.
I think what I was doing was I was looking through Mike's friends, because Mike worked at Adventureland. So he had a lot of Adventureland friends. I was looking through his high school friends and saying, because as Robert Riley, you probably wouldn't have been able to see his friends, but you would have been able to find the event most likely.
Yeah, probably.
So I would look through his high school friends, pick a name, tell him the name, he would look through the event, and if the name matched, sent them a message. So that weekend, I assume, after we did all this during the week, Mike tells us that he got this message from some guy, Robert Riley, saying he's going to get all these kids suspended for cutting school. And he's showing us the message, and I'm reading it as if, like, I didn't write it.
Reading it on his phone, laughing, thinking to ourselves, like, oh, we wrote this. And he's like, I know, right? It's fucking crazy. And we're like, bro, this is crazy.
This is insane.
Man.
And I think the part I was most proud about was the fact that he said that in one of his classes, like 3 of his friends said they got the same message.
So they're sitting there, he's like, we're sitting in criminal justice and we're all talking about it because we all got the message. And just the thought of all these kids that we don't know sitting there like, yo, are we getting suspended for doing this? Like,
just
what's going on?
Fuck with our one friend.
One guy.
Like 14 other people's like lives were like, oh my god, I'm gonna get suspended. So this happens, and we're like, oh, what do you think is gonna happen? I was like, I don't know, we'll see. So the cut day passes. Because obviously we don't really send a list to anyone. We don't give a shit.
We fucking left it after that.
that was it. We were done.
Let them cut.
We don't care. So the cut day passes, and we're like, oh, did anything happen? Did you get suspended? He's like, no, I haven't heard anything. So he graduates and everything. And like, how long after that?
I don't even know. It was months.
Like,
Months
several
went
months.
by.
It had to be like that winter.
It had
like,
to be,
we did it in May. That winter, like that November.
Yeah.
We're all hanging out. And I think it was like, we were just talking about like pranks we pulled.
Yeah, he started talking about some prank or something, and then like, oh, man, that reminds me of a funny prank I pulled where I created this fake Facebook account and told a bunch of high school kids that they were going to get suspended for cutting.
And then he's just like, wait, that was you?
And he had this look on his face that was so priceless. That was
so
good.
Oh my god, that was so cool.
Well, like, I'll be proud of that forever, because that was
that was a lot of
pulling
fun.
shit like that was so funny.
So much fun.
If you ever get the opportunity to do something like that,
you have to take it, because it's so much fun.
It's so worth it.
It's so
the
worth
laughs are endless.
And
endless
we're
laughs.
still laughing about it.
Yeah, and
this was
literally years ago.
Yeah.
That was my first year in college.
So that's like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And we're still, like, we still think it's as hilarious today as it was back then.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, like you said, if you ever have the chance to fuck with someone like that, you gotta
think of something good.
You gotta take the chance,
Gotta
because it's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that wraps it up here.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, we covered a lot today.
We did cover a lot. I bored a lot of people with my filmmaking talk.
We'll cut that.
We talked a lot about people trying too hard, fucking with people, insulting people, booing people off of Twitter the way you'll boo someone off of... Similar to how, like, Sinead O'Connor was booed off stage after ripping up the picture of the Pope.
Yeah.
I think that's what we need to start doing.
I'm definitely going to start doing that now. I'm going to start booing people on Twitter.
So if you ever tweet something really stupid...
I'll find you and I'll boo you.
And you get tweets from us, don't worry, I'll put our Twitter handles up on the screen. You'll see who we are. If you ever see us booing at you, you'll know we're trying to get you to leave Twitter forever.
Yeah.
So, that about wraps it up. This has been the first episode of PigeonCast, the Pigeon Boys video podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know I did. Did you?
I've had better times.
All right.
I've had better days.
We'll see you next time.